for watching. I'm Prerna Agarwal, Technical Product Owner for The Guardian. Today we'll be giving you Guardian update of Sprint 74 that lasted from September 16 to September 27. So just a quick overview of the agenda. We'll be looking at the roadmap. We'll also be talking about the issues that we tackled in Sprint 74. Then we'll be flipping over and giving you a short demo on Sprint 74. Then we'll be also talking ahead of week of September 30th, which is Sprint 75. Then we'll also be talking about the issues that we'll be tackling in Sprint 75. We'll be talking about the upcoming releases, and we'll be giving you some of the ways that you can either submit bugs or policy requests through various different channels. Talking about Guardian roadmap, we are actually working on the calculation logic for values in automatic fields in schemas. Then we are also working on the climate action reserves US landfill protocol methodology. We are working on the trust chain support for contract-based issuance. And we are also working on the Guardian Analytics insights on the top-down approach. Talking about Sprint 74, so in Sprint 74, we committed to 47 story points and we delivered 39 story points, which includes 2933, which is rationalizing API and UI return error codes. We also worked on 2942, which is default values for schema-defined fields. And we worked on a methodology, Global Carbon Council methodology, which is GCCM001, which is a methodology for renewable energy generation projects supplying electricity to grid or captive consumers, which is version 4.0. Now let's look at the demo. So the first ticket, what we'll be looking at is 2942, which is default values for schema-defined fields. So in Guardian, schemas are generally actually via forms in which users need to fill in values. Often users either don't know what to put into the fields, or more common, the values are standard for most of the projects, and thus some defaults would be helpful. This is especially so for established methodologies for which these defaults are known at the time when the schemas are defined. Now, in order to do this, what we have done is we have recorded one short video so that we can give a quick demo on how this particular feature would work and how you can utilize and implement this particular demo. Just to demo this, what we have done is we have just created a sample predefined values policy, just a simple policy which would be helpful for demoing this particular feature. Now, as you can see here, we have a policy, and then here what I would do is I would first create two schema fields. One would be email field, which would be a field type of email, type email. And then here, as you can see, we have added a new section as selected values, where you would be able to enter three different types of values, which is the default value, which would display when you launch the form, then which is a suggested value, which Guardian would suggest when you don't fill the value. And then this is the test value. This will only be used during the dry run. Then I would create a second field as location, just to give you a complex use case here by selecting GeoJSON type. And here again, I would like to fill three different values for GeoJSON field. Then I select the suggested value for location field, which is GeoJSON. And then lastly, I would also fill the test value field for GeoJSON. So once I do that, I save this particular schema, and then I try to run this particular policy. As you can see, we have just created a simple form where we will be using this particular schema. And then I would just save this and run this in a dry run mode. Now, as you can see here, you have two fields. One is email and one is location. And by default, it would be displaying the default value. And once you remove the default value, you will get this fill the field with suggestion, where it would actually display the suggested value, what we have entered during the schema creation. And then in addition to this, this is the suggested value of the GeoJSON. If you don't want to use any of this, you have the test button, which would actually autofill these two fields with the test values what we have entered during the schema creation. So as you can see, we have three different things, and these all three can be used while doing the schema creation. So in addition to this, we have also updated our documentation. So when you go to our docs.hedera.com/Guardian, So under the schema section, you would be able to see schema predefined values using UI. And here we have actually explained a detailed documentation of how each value can be set and what each of the value means in the Guardian when you define these values. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us in this particular feature. So the second thing in what we wanted to discuss is about the Global Carbon Council GCCM001 methodology for renewable energy generation projects supplying electricity to grid or captive users, which is version 4.0, which is ticket 3705. So in this, what we have done is we have first created a schema design Excel file using the methodology. And then we have come up with the schema design Excel file, which you can find it in our methodology library folder. In addition to that, we have also have the policy been implemented, a detailed one, which would be easily implemented and imported in the Guardian, and then you can run this policy. And then we have also worked on the data for each of the verifier files, which would be required if you want to run this policy. You can just use this data in filling those schemas for product owner, project owner, project monitoring report data. We have also project submission form data. We have the verification report data and verifier 1 and verifier 2, which would be easily helpful for you to fill it and run the policy. In addition to that, we have also updated our documentation. So if you just look at our README file, you have a detailed documentation. And the same thing, you should be also be able to look at our docs.hedera.com. And when you get there under demo guide, you should be able to see a detailed documentation of how the workflow is and what are the roles involved and what is the step-by-step process of executing this particular methodology. So that was a demo for Sprint 74, and looking ahead of week of September 30th, which is Sprint 75. In Sprint 75, currently we are committing to 52 story points where we are working on 3336 Guardian Analytics bottom of data traceability. We are working also on the 4204 ticket, where we will be verifying all the features which got affected by the mirror node changes in hedera. And we are also working on 2986, which is calculation logic for values in automatic fields in schemas. Talking about our releases, our last release was on Friday, July 31st, 2024, and our next release will be on Thursday, October 2024. So there are multiple ways to reach out to us. You can reach out to us on GitHub. You can submit policy requests, enhancements, or if you have some bugs, please submit those bugs with us so that we can get our team on it. Or if you haven't joined our Discord, please visit hedera.com/Discord. And when you get there, search for sustainability channel. Or you can feel free to reach out to us directly if you have any policy requests by emailing us at info@envisionblockchain.com or directly through our website, which is www.envisionblockchain.com. Thank you. Have a great day.